Toy Story 5, the 5th film in the Toy Story franchise, and I'm a huge Toy Story fan. I mean, I grew up with these movies. I kind of am Andy in that generation, you know, when the first movie came out. I mean, I wasn't born when the first movie came out. I was actually born in 97. The first film came out in 95. So it came out 2 years before, but I was right in that prime age of the Toy Story and Toy Story 2. And so when those movies came out, I mean, Toy Story, it took me a little bit to get on board with that movie, partly because of Sid's room and the toys that Sid had. It was creepy for a young child, but I didn't. Eventually, I did love to. That movie grew on me and continues to grow on me, and I do really enjoy that first Toy Story movie. It was the first film that Pixar ever did. It's a classic for a reason. And then Toy Story 2 comes along, and that's still my favorite Toy Story movie. I don't think anything can beat Toy Story 2 because that movie is just, it's so special to me. I don't know how many times I watched that. I had the first 2 movies on VHS, and I don't know how many times I started that movie, rewound that movie, began it again, and just it was constantly on repeat for quite a while. So the first 2 Toy Story movies, I mean, I love those movies, Toy Story 2 especially, one of my all-time favorite films. And then Toy Story 3, of course, for the longest time thought that they should never make another Toy Story movie after Toy Story 3. Thought it was a wonderful capper to that trilogy. And I still kind of contend with that. I still kind of think that Toy Story 3, it was the perfect end for the toys. You know, Andy went off to college, the toys are now with Bonnie. There's this great, you know, end of the story. And of course, we have the epilogue at the end of Toy Story 3. We see that the toys do have a life after Andy. They're thriving. They love being in this new environment with Bonnie and these new toys. I think that was a perfect ending. And if it was me, if I was making those decisions, I wouldn't have gone past Toy Story 3. But they made Toy Story 4. And Toy Story 4 I've had an interesting relationship with. When I came out of the theater after I watched Toy Story 4. I didn't like the movie. I had a lot of issues with it, especially for how they treated Woody, how they treated Buzz, and the journey that Woody goes on. I felt like at the end of the movie, he had essentially abandoned everything that he said he was supposed to do. I mean, Toy Story 3 is all about, now we got to stick with Andy. Even if we're going to be put in the attic and, you know, kind of discarded, put aside, we still have to, you know, honor our role as one of Andy's toys. So I kind of felt like Woody had just had a switch had just gone off, and I guess that only applied to Andy because when it came to Bonnie, I just felt like at the end of the movie he wasn't honoring what he was as a character for the first 3 films, and it felt like 4 he just becomes an entirely different character. But that movie has grown on me, of course, because of characters like Forky, the soundtrack, so many elements to that film, Duke Kaboom, all these new characters that were introduced. I actually have kind of warmed up to it, and partly because I now have a son. I wasn't a father when I first watched Toy Story 4. Now I am, and now I mean I have my Andy. I have my son, and his name's not Andy, but I have my son, and he has kind of helped me have a different perspective on some of these movies that I may have been a little too harsh on in the past, because I see his enjoyment with these movies, and it's making me like these movies more. So as a parent, I have actually been able to reevaluate Toy Story 4, and it's still not my favorite of the series. It's at the moment still my least favorite of the Toy Story series, but I have kind of come around on that movie. So I still have issues with it, but it's not as bad as I initially said or initially thought it was. So now we get to Toy Story. All that out of the way. Now we get to Toy Story 5. Everything I've heard about Toy Story 5 going into it, I was like, this is so perfect. It's toys versus tech. And that's a huge thing, especially as a parent now, that you're kind of dealing with I don't want to just sit my child in front of a screen. I don't want a screen to be my child's parent. I don't want a screen or a phone or a TV or a tablet to shape how my child grows up. We try to implement at our household. We try to implement playtime with toys. So with the Cars toys from the Cars movies, Hot Wheels, that kind of stuff. We try to implement toys, Toy Story characters. My son has a Rex. He has a Woody. He has these characters. So try to implement playtime with toys and not just being engulfed on a screen. I mean, if we turn the TV on, there's times he may just want to sit there and watch a movie. I mean, his favorite movie right now is Cars 2. So I don't know if I did anything wrong there, but his favorite movie right now is Cars 2. That's like his favorite thing to watch. But putting a screen in front of a child's face instead of letting them play with toys, does that take away from their childhood, from their upbringing? Does this make them age up a little too quickly? What does it expose them to the world? And that's the question that we have in Toy Story 5, is that's what it tackles. is play versus tech. Are toys outdated? Are we now, our kids only fully focused on being on a phone or being on an iPad, completely separated, not socializing with other kids? That's what this movie tackles. And it also has another great message with Jessie's story. It has a little bit of closure with her story from Toy Story 2 and the trauma she had of being felt abandoned by her original owner, Emily. And so this movie answers a lot of questions that you may have had from Toy Story 2, even questions that you didn't have, but it was a very charming and an endearing film. The army of Buzz Lightyears that you've seen in the trailer, so that's not a spoiler, was some of the funniest stuff in that movie. I mean, they gave Tim Allen a lot of stuff to do in this movie, because I think Buzz was actually pretty underused in Toy Story 4. So I think they made up for that in Toy Story 5. Smarty Pants, the character that Conan O'Brien voices in this movie, was so delightful and was my favorite new character in this movie. He's got the comedy chops, and he's still got it. They did a lot of interesting stuff with his character. And so this movie, it just has a lot of great messaging of what toys versus tech is. If you think that the character of Lily Pad is the ultimate villain, it's going to make you rethink some stuff there. She's not like a full-on villain. She is an antagonist to the toys, of course, but I don't know if I would call her a villain. I'll let you decide when you watch the movie. This movie, it was very good. The big downside I'd say I take away from this is they actually didn't give Woody much to do, and that's kind of a fault of what they did in Toy Story 4 of taking him out of the bedroom. He's not in Bonnie's house anymore. He's not a part of that family. He's not a part of that group anymore. They've really, I think, hampered his character, and so I would like to see him come back. Maybe a Toy Story 6, he's actually found by Andy and is given to Andy's kids. So maybe there's this nice, another full circle moment of Toy Story 6 can be the new Toy Story 3, and we can maybe have a final capper on this. There's probably going to end up being Toy Story 10, 11, and 12. They'll be making these movies as long as they can. I will say that they do take their time with these Toy Story movies. They make these movies when they have a story that they feel like is necessary to tell. They feel like it's important to tell, and I think this was definitely an important story to tell in the Toy Story franchise. And so for Toy Story 5, if I was going to rank this movie, I would give it a 4.5 out of 5 or an A- on the letter scale. I love Toy Story 5. I had a lot of fun with this movie, and if you're a fan of this franchise, I think you'll have fun with it too. Hey everyone, thanks so much for checking out that clip from my new podcast, Talking Movies and More. It will be intercut with the podcast we're doing called The Assembly Cut I'm doing with Hayden Smalley, and I hope you stick around and check out that podcast as well. Be sure to check it out here on YouTube or your favorite podcasting platform, either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Go down in the comment section, let me know what you thought of the topic we discussed here today. Thank you so much for checking this video out. Remember to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get notified when new videos go live to this channel. When you do that, it always helps me out, and I greatly appreciate it. Hope you all have an awesome and a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next video.